Well, Jack, so a lot of people know you obviously as like a streamer, content creator. You also did some hype casting and caster work as well.
Yeah.
Leading up to that. But what did you do before streaming, before content creation? Did you do anything for work even before casting? And when did you decide to take streaming content creation full time?
Before any of that stuff, I mean, I was always an esports fan from the Halo days. I first began following esports with Halo 2 in 2007.
Mm-hmm.
Really dove into it September 25th, 2007, which was the launch of Halo 3.
Yeah.
And that was the day that my life changed with gaming, because I just went all in on Halo 3 at that point.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, that's Halo 3 is still up there as one of my favorite games of all time, and I could rant forever about how I think it's arguably the most valuable game that's ever happened in current gen. Like, for what you pay for what you get, it's mind blowing. But
Wow.
that was where my life changed. Followed the games, and then had an opportunity to play with some of the top guys in 2010 when StarCraft began to kind of take over the MLG scene.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the Halo pros were tweeting out like, "Guys, what is this game StarCraft? Can any of you teach me?" And like, none of their followers played the game except for me.
Wow.
So I would just be like, "Yo, I'd love to, show you how to play." And next, people like Enable and Flamesword and Ace and Cleat LaRusso or Assault, Puckett, who was the head caster, everything. So many people, like 25 different Halo pros and Halo influencers or Halo people in general.
Yeah.
I began to become friendly with them through Skype and would help them learn StarCraft, because at that time I was like diamond at the game.
Wow. And how old were you at this time?
Probably like 15, 16.
Wow.
2010, yeah, 16.
Yeah.
So became friendly with them, and then stayed friendly with them across the next couple of years. I went to MLG Providence 2011, which is the first time I met Puckett in real life, and was going into my senior year of high school. And Chris knew I was into media and video. So when it came down to going to college, when I was coming back for my first summer, I got an offer to be an intern at MLG as an unpaid intern on the video team.
Whoa.
And with that, my life changed. That was my first internship in esports. Prior to that, though, I was a babysitter. I mowed 5 lawns a week. I would do dog walking. I was a camp counselor, then got promoted the next year to assistant grade leader. Then the next year got promoted to grade leader. Then the next year got promoted to assistant camp director. Or no, sorry, like head of all the activities, and then assistant camp director. And like my 5 years of doing that.
Wow.
And then at college, I was mainly playing games, doing video stuff, but then also another area where my life changed and my confidence really built up, and where I began to really learn a lot about running meetings and being involved in what feels like a business and establishing connections, was when I joined Theta Chi Fraternity, and we founded our chapter at Towson University. I was brother number 8. My nickname was, and still is to all them, Fluffy, because they thought I looked like the comedian Gabriel Iglesias.
Yeah.
And then there I joined, and like 6 weeks into being there, I became the recruitment chair my freshman year. So I was head of all recruitment. So like it was my job to be the social one, leading and planning all those events. And then the year after, I was the youngest president at Towson, my sophomore into junior year. We won the 5 highest awards we could win for Theta Chi, as well as the first fraternity to win chapter of the year. In like 16 years at Towson, I won president of the year. We won everything. And then the year after that, I became chaplain, where you lead all the secrets of the fraternity and all the all that stuff. And
where
then
all the weirdos have to leave on Mondays, right? That's a Monday. It's chapter.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you guys have more experience with fraternities than I do. I don't really know.
For sure. And then I got in. I won the that year when I was chaplain of my fraternity, my junior year into senior year. I got elected IFC president, which is the head of all fraternities. But at that point, I was starting to take off with casting, and I had to make a decision, like, do I want to stay as IFC president or go and cast my second ever MLG event? And I chose casting.
So you were doing all this administrative work essentially for the fraternity that you started at this university. Again, I think I messed this up. How old were you at that time?
When I first decided to accept my bid to Theta Chi, I was literally 6 weeks into being a freshman. So like 18.
Yeah. That's incredible.
And at that point, I didn't drink either. So I was like a sober fraternity president, which was always funny. I didn't drink till I was 21. So
Oh wow, no, that's
You're
that's
bad. Me either.
admirable. No, kids, definitely obey the law.
Yeah, seriously, the law. It's
Yeah.
the law. Don't go to
for
jail.
sure,
It's important. It's important.
Yeah.
So I did not know any of that. That is insane. You started a fraternity from like the ground up. You said a lot. You also were like babysitting.
Yeah, I was a CPR certified and would babysit. Because when you're CPR certified, you can charge more.
Yeah, you got to grind. You got to grind, dude.
So yeah, I would babysit and I would mow lawns. I would mow 5 lawns. So my house, my neighbors across the street, the neighbors to the left, the neighbors down the block, and then the neighbors on my right side. Like literally every house around me. And I would charge $25 a lawn. So I was making $125 a week. My parents would pay me too. They wanted me to be incentivized to work hard as well, which I always appreciated. And then the camp was it was for the month of July every year. My local park in my town. And that's how I got a lot of my babysitting opportunities was through that camp.
Are you like a kid person? Do you like kids?
Oh yeah, I'm so excited to be a dad one day.
Really?
I think it's tough because it's a double-edged sword because you have to give up. Your life is no longer yours when you have a child.
Yeah.
At that point, your life is now your child. Your child is now your life.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I'm blessed to have a great supporting family. And whenever that time does come, I'm very confident that between the means that I have to help with my family, as well as if I need a nanny or whatever to help with things while I'm still doing events or still doing business stuff, I'm confident I'll be able to afford and do all that to maybe ease some of the pressures because it's a lot for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Same place here. Same place here. Just trying to find that time where being a baseball player and not having to sleep every night. Unfortunately, sleep is really important to throwing baseballs where you want it. So
yeah, I can imagine.
So there's
a little bit
good time. So we're
definitely just make Kate do that. That'll go over well too.
Yeah, she's totally down to do what I say. Yeah. That goes really well. Did you know that Kate and I met at a frat party? Did you know that? Did we tell you that? Yeah, I was a honorary member of.
He was Van Wilder.
Sigma.
Of what fraternity?
Phi Kappa Sigma.
Okay.
At University of Washington, and we met at a frat party. She did not believe that I wasn't part of the frat, and I was just a guy living in their house. Because my best friend was the president, so he just and I had to leave on Mondays because that's when chapter was, and yeah, it's crazy. And I didn't know you went to Towson. My sister went to University of Delaware.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, so it's like small world, dude. Colonial Conference, crazy. That's dude, you've done it. So we're not even okay. So you're at this point in the story, you're casting.
Sorry.
Right?
Yeah. I'm just so hung up on all the.
No, it's crazy. I didn't know you've been literally doing this for 10 years. I did not know that until today. So the same way we learned about Cypher, Cypher's like, yeah, I've been a YouTuber since I was 14. I was like, what?
Yeah.
So
exactly. He was a little baby.
So you became a caster in MLG.
Yep.
And then, so how far away from Fortnite are we?
At this point, it's like 2015.
Okay, so we're
like Call of Duty Ghosts was like the game. Like I wasn't supposed to be a caster. I went there to be a video intern. So everyone always talks about like how fond they remember these certain like MLG Anaheim events. Like, bro, I was cutting VODs from Call of Duty matches in the MLG office with the air conditioning off on the weekends because no one else was there.
Oh,
Eating Sticky's chicken fingers with my buddy Chemo Alex, who's still involved in it and everything. So a great guy. But yeah, back then they did a daily show called the Esports Report where they'd cover all things at esports, mainly Call of Duty. And Chris Puckett was the only host, and he was going to be out sick one day. So it came down to a point where they were going to have to cancel the show. They were having a conversation in front of me. It was Chris over the phone and Ron and Brian, who were the producer and director on the show. And they were like, all right, man, I guess, because we did like 5 hours of work or 6 hours of work to lead into that show. We had it all packaged and ready to go.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of sitting there listening and then blurted out without even thinking, like, I think I can do it. Because at that point I'd already had on-camera experience through my electronic media and film stuff at Towson, which is what I have my degree in.
Yeah.
And then actually in high school, we had a media program where I was comfortable from doing shows there and being on camera. So I thought I could do it. And next thing you know, I hosted it that day and then hosted it 45 straight days with Chris until I went back to college over the summer. And then got my first casting opportunity a few months later with Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, the first event for that game, which was a crazy event in Columbus, Ohio. My first event, I missed Thanksgiving, so it was quite the
wow,
quite the thing. But I knew from the beginning I was going to have to make sacrifices, and it definitely paid off.
Dang, absolutely. Wow. Yeah, I'm sure your Italian mother was totally fine with you missing Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving's never really been too big in our family.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, we're definitely much more of a Christmas thing. So still haven't missed a Christmas, thankfully.
Well, that's good.
So you straight up shot your shot.
And yeah, I just you gotta believe in yourself. You gotta be able to recognize an opportunity when it presents itself. And thankfully, I've just been pretty good at that.
You have that saying too, which I didn't want to like necessarily ask because I know a lot of times this stuff can be kind of marketing in and of itself. With different phrases and things. But you have a phrase of don't take part, take over.
Yeah.
And to be honest, you perfectly personified that phrase in that story you just told. You could have just been a part of that show, but you're like, I can do it. Like not even thinking necessarily, just like I'll do it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It's kind of how I view a lot of things. I mean, there's certain things that I need to even take my own lessons for and apply it. But everything I've done with my 5 cross-country moves for pushing my career or 4, whatever the hell it is, since like 2015, 2016 was literally that. It was just like, listen, I could half-ass it or I could do what needs to be done and take the opportunities and see through the vision that I have. And it's worked itself out.
Absolutely. And I think too, it's can be.
Ouch! I dropped my water.
I thought I dropped something. I was like, what?
I was just about to yell at Trevor, like, damn it, Trevor, get again over there.
My fault.
No, it's so fine. I completely forgot I was going with that. What was I talking about?
So, I mean, okay, so you're a caster. We've gotten all the way through casting. So Fortnite came. You were casting for Fortnite out the gate, right? Was that what you were trying to do in that game first? Is that kind of the role you wanted?
The way I viewed it at first with Fortnite, when it really began to take over, was like I started playing the game. When people asked me when I started playing, like the first day Fortnite was available, September 26, 2017, I was playing that day.
Wow.
Same.
And so I played from the very first day and got addicted right away. And over time, my love for Call of Duty, especially the game that I just didn't like at all, was Call of Duty World War II. World War II games, I've played an effing dozen of them now. So, you can only storm Normandy so many times before you're like, okay. And so we're playing this game. It's dreary. There's no color in it. They built Call of Duty World War II to be as dark and realistic as possible. And when you're casting that game every damn day, you feel how depressing it can be.
Yeah.
And like, I was just sitting there being like, this was my passion for casting was dwindling as I was traveling every week. My love for streaming was building, and my love for a new game in Fortnite was consuming my mind. And I was streaming that every day instead of COD, and realizing that I did not want to cast Ardennes Forest CTF, which was my least favorite game mode in the history of any Call of Duty game. I didn't want to cast that anymore. So thankfully, I got approached by OpTic Gaming, and I had already been approached by OpTic Gaming as well as very, very early on 100 Thieves to be part of their organizations. And I didn't feel at that point 100 Thieves didn't know what 100 Thieves wanted to be, and Nate Shot even talks about it himself. So I didn't want to, get involved in that early of a ground level. And then OpTic's original offer just wasn't enough. If I was going to join an organization, I needed to know that at that time wasn't going to be making enough money to keep living the same life that I wanted to. So I was very blunt and said, here's what I want to be paid. I want to be able to live the same life that I have currently while I build up my audience. And 6 months passed, and my second week of casting the Call of Duty League, when I was realizing that I just couldn't mentally do this, I got kind of the call from the heavens, which was at that time OpTic Gaming, prior to the ship completely setting sail, saying, hey, come join us. We'll give you your exact MLG salary, healthcare, everything, and we'll pay for your apartment. Just move to Texas and help us. And I was like, well, let's do it.
Help you in what way? Were you a content creator for them?
Yeah, I would be in their videos. I would help them with, bringing eyes to the brand.
Remember, Fortnite was hockey sticking at this point too. Like it was just like full on.
I've never heard that saying before, but
what the hell does that even mean?
Yeah, Fortnite was rollerblading.
It's
Fortnite mountain climbing.
There you go. Thank you. I got it now.
Yeah.
Paul.
Value goes up really fast.
Yeah.
Viewership was hockey sticking on the graph, like when it goes up really fast. We were in that time when everyone was going insane.
Yeah, it was ice fishing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, perfect. We got it now.
You know what? Everyone knows what I meant. Okay.
Yeah. No, of course.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Go on.
So that's exactly what was happening though, Trevor. Was like Fortnite was starting on the up. I saw this opportunity, and the toughest part of leading MLG was like leaving behind some of my best friends, like my best friend in the world, Maven. And when I told him like the opportunity I had, he was like, Jack, I will punch you in the face if you don't leave and do that. So that was a pretty big decision. At that point, I had a Call of Duty casting job for literally ever. Like I was not like, I could have stayed in that job forever and been content at what I was doing, but I just didn't feel fulfilled. I still love Call of Duty. I still watch Call of Duty. Unfortunately, there's some heads on the Call of Duty competitive subreddit that think I'm a sellout and think I've changed. But anyone that knows me from those days, I'm basically still the exact same. I'm just, I guess, a little bit more successful and have achieved my dreams. So if they're gonna write those comments, I can look at it and go, hey, you know what? You can think that way, but there's a reason why I still get called back to Call of Duty events and I'm still best friends and still really close with all those guys. And it's because I'm the same person I once was. So it's funny how people can judge from the outside looking in and not knowing anything, but that's my rant on that. But yeah, I wound up announcing that via Twitter and Instagram that I was leaving MLG. It was a big thing. And then joined OpTic through their Vision series. And the finale of the episode of the final scene was me being revealed. And I had a good time there. I was kind of in an incubator in Texas where I didn't have a couch. I didn't have furniture. I just had a setup, my bed, and a TV. And for a year, all I did was that. It was the most unhealthy lifestyle I've ever lived. But in that year, I went from like 250,000 followers to like 6 million blow up of Fortnite. That's when I started Fortnite casting. And that's where my life changed. And I recognize that year of 2018 into early 2019 is what made my life now in 2020 possible. And the things I'm able to do and enjoy the fruits of my labor. But looking back on it, I definitely was living the most unhealthy life I've ever lived.
In what way? Just like through food?
I mean, you were just streaming and sleeping,
I was streaming. I didn't have. I would barely go out. I would just like I would look at pictures of myself and you could see like the dark circles under my eyes from when like all I would do was just sit at my computer and wasn't really going to the gym too much. I mean, still I'm on and off with it, but at least now I get way more sun in LA. I have a flourishing social life. I have a girlfriend that I love. Like all that stuff has been. I look back on it now and I'm like, thank God earlier Jack did that in that year, but now I'm like, I could not imagine doing that. Just like how when I was casting, I was like, I could not imagine driving in, like commuting 3 hours into the city every day, round trip to do my unpaid MLG internship, but that first summer.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this too, because I feel like a lot of people take this position, a lot of content creators, especially new ones that start, is like, I'm just going to grind. I'm just going to put my, just going to grind it out. But did you have a passion for what you were doing? What was your goal? Like when you were so unhealthy doing this, what was in your mind that you were accomplishing?
Well, I've had moments where I've tried to be a streamer and do this stuff in the past. Like I have unlisted YouTube videos from like 2011 of me or 12 of me like, hey guys, what's up? It's Courage, the gamer here. And today we're doing a Black Ops 2 commentary talking about the Xbox One X and how bad it's looking right now. Like it's been getting destroyed. And like that's what so I have stuff like that from the old days that I have hidden from my channel. But when it came down to making stuff and getting involved, then when Fortnite began to take off, I've been very blessed to have already had the connections of people who were starting to take off. Like I was friendly with Tyler and a fan of his, Ninja, for example, from the Halo Reach days. Like I remember meeting him at an event and shit like that. So that's kind of where my relationship with Tyler began. And thankfully, we gamed together and I was an above average player. Obviously everyone knew Ninja is arguably the best in the world at that point. So it was just kind of a match made in heaven, and met Lupo through him and Tim and all you guys. So For me, it was pretty simple. It was like when you go live every day, and I didn't come from money. My family doesn't have money, and I go live every day, and I'm like, okay, I played video games for 10 hours today and made $4,500.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm going to play video games tomorrow for 14 hours to try to make another $4,500.
Exactly.
Like, why would you not? You got to take advantage of it.
Yeah. So I was just like addicted. I was addicted to seeing the numbers go up. I was waking up and being like, wow, I gained 3,000 YouTube subs today. Wow, I gained 3,000 YouTube subs today. Wow, I gained 10,000 YouTube subs today. Wow, my video from yesterday has 1 million views in 24 hours because it's Connor meeting Tim or whatever. It's like, what the hell is going on?
Exactly.
Like you feel like it's almost like you feel like you're like, I figured something out. The light bulb came on somewhere. I'm doing something right. And I need to keep doing this right until until you get experience and you're like, okay, the market tells you something and that it doesn't work as well anymore, which happened with kind of Fortnite a little bit. And you got to start making other decisions. But it's really cool to see. And I know this feeling really well. Cool when you're trying something and then it works and you're like, oh, that feels good. And there's a fine line between like being addicted to the feeling of like the numbers or just the feeling of something working that you tried. Like there's a fine line between those two things.
That's true.
And it's very hard to stay in the like, okay, I'm going to keep the process is working and that's what I love so much. And the numbers are nice, but like, I need to take the same kind of mindset when like I try something and it doesn't work as well. That's feedback again. So I just won't do that again. And then we'll just try something else. And sounds like, I mean, just by how the story's gone, it sounds like you're pretty good at making those good decisions and figuring out, seeing how things are going to move forward. And that's really impressive. I mean, I didn't know 80% of the stuff. This is phenomenal.